Hey guys, welcome back to my CCLP5 submission set. It's been, well, you know the drill. It's always been a while, blah blah blah. Stuff like that. I went on my trip to Nebraska, visited my friend, and I had a great time. It was enjoyable. I did say I was going to record several videos and then have them uploaded as a backlog, but a lot of things came up. I actually forgot about my COVID vaccination right before leaving, and that affected those plans. So anyway, here I am back with my levels and play through them, verify they're solvable, and talk about them. So this is Concrete Jungle. This is the first level from Josh-CCLP5 that I submitted for CCLP5. And from this point on, I can basically talk about a lot of things with these levels because of JB's LP of Josh-CCLP6, and then shortly after is Josh-CCLP7, which probably won't be a whole lot because that was quite a while ago when that was Let's Played. Walls of CCLP3, which was recent, and will probably get the most because I never did get around to commenting on JB's videos of those, at least like past like part 8 or something. And I would have to rewatch all those videos in order to comment on them at this point, and maybe I will in the future when I have more time to, but yeah, from here on I'm just going to comment on them through voice, and then of course the trading places levels of mine. And the last section is new stuff that has not been released prior and probably won't be released for quite some time. So Concrete Jungle, it's the play on words of city and concrete with the pop-up walls and jungle with the teeth. Yeah, I was trying to be clever with the title. For those that are not aware, during CCLP4 voting, I submitted 2 versions of this level. There was this one and another one with the same title but with Rigid Edition at the end of it. And in that version, there were green keys thrown into the pathing that you had to avoid. And I still prefer that version, honestly. It's a little, well, more rigid, but I feel like that made it a little bit more interesting than this one. But I didn't submit it just because I know this is more than likely the preferred one. So I just went with the one and hope for the best. I don't think this will get into CCLP5 though. All right, carbon footprint. So this was one of the attempts I made to walls of CCLP1 back when I tried it. And this uses present company. For what it's worth, I think JB's level with this template is vastly better than this, but I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. It's a nice little pathfinding level. It's a little different compared to the Josh-CCLP6 version. I cleaned up this right side to not include the pop-up wall, or not pop-up wall, thin wall, and I just lost my only boots. Now you're probably thinking, well, you can just get this one. And it's true, I could, but I can't exit, and you need the red key to exit. Now, at least with the Josh-CCLP6 stuff, I don't remember what JB said about most of them, but I will go ahead and say that because he Let's Play Josh-CCLP6, that actually influenced basically what I submitted from Josh-CCLP6. And I'm cheating and pushing him over fire boots. I don't care. It's solvable in links. And there we go. So there were some changes that were made from the Josh-CCLP6 versions to here. I think originally this teleport was way off screen and couldn't be seen. And I remember JB didn't know what to do with the red key, and he just tried the teleport and it happened to work, which was what you are supposed to do, but I didn't like that obscurity. It didn't need to be there, and so I moved the exit down some to be visible. A Valley of Darkness. Now this was one I had already submitted well before the LP of Josh-CCLP5 started, and I have to say I love this level. Like, if you asked me to pick a top 10 in this submission set I compiled, this would probably be in the top 10. Like, that's how much I like it. It's such a simple idea with block checkerboard navigation, but I think what I love about this is the invisible walls actually add a little bit more to it. And the fact they are permanently invisible actually makes it a little bit more tricky. So I can do this, can't do that, and then I can do this. There we go. Yeah, I absolutely would love to see this in CCLP5. I realize it's pretty basic and simple, but this could be a nice first decade level, I feel like, in CCLP5. Maybe second decade at the latest, but no later. All right, Scandinavia. Make a path for the fireball to follow through the fire before collecting all the chips in the room to the right. Probably should have changed the hint slightly, but it's okay. So this level is meant to reference and rather look like actual Scandinavia of Norway, Sweden, and parts of Finland. So I think this is the Norway side, at least in terms of how it looks. And then this is supposed to be the Sweden side, which probably isn't dirty, but it's okay. I really like this. One thing I really need to make more of is these block guiding things with toggle walls. They're genuinely really interesting how they can be created. Okay, so all we do is this. I remember the hint threw off JB, but I'm not sure how else to really word it. But we basically, I don't want to use any of those pop-up walls. Now this is a change I did make between Josh-CCLP5 and here. So this walker corner used to not exist. Instead, the walker just bounced back and forth on the edge of the level. And I distinctly remember JB died to it, I think, or didn't see it coming. So I changed it to just be a cloned walker, so you know what's there. And now this is supposed to reference Slightly Mad. Actually, this whole Finland side is meant to reference a little bit of Slightly Mad. This is Arctic Flow, and this is Pauper Isle, I think. So you can just kill the Paramecium.
Bummer.
Or get killed by it. I guess that works too. So yeah, had JB not LP'd Josh-CCLP5, I probably wouldn't have submitted as much from it as I did. And even though that like influenced what I chose, I still didn't pick some that felt like they should have been submitted initially. Twin Pines Mall was one of them. I remember he really liked it, but I didn't submit it because there was I think the reasoning was there was that one difference between MS and Lynx at the end of the level that wasn't made clear. And I do recognize that can be a pretty bad thing to not make clear. But I think what changed my mind about it was, I think it was Tom Brown that wanted me to submit it. And I didn't submit it for him. I looked it over. Like, I took his suggestion and looked over the level again, and I kind of told myself, like, well, what's the reason why I'm not submitting this? And then I should probably be talking about this level when I actually get to it, but I looked at it and I established that the reasoning, I'm gonna die. No, I'm not gonna die. But I can now do this. Okay. I also remember that this part was a little unclear. I think JB actually bridged straight to the toggle button, which was not what you were supposed to do. So I threw clone machines in the water there to just prevent that from being a possibility. And make it a little bit more clear you actually have to go up here instead. Okay. So what I want to do is this. And now, gotta get the block down here so I can get the fire boots and exit. And you even have to do some toggling going back through this, which I think is a really cool thing. Yeah, I'll save that Twin Pines Mall stuff for when the time comes. So basically where I was getting at was there was a MS links difference. And, oh yeah, there used to be a chip up here. Like the last chip was right here, but I think that was something that threw JB off as well. So I just took that chip away and just put the flippers immediately behind the socket. And there's Scandinavia. Yeah, there was an MS versus links thing difference, and then I recognized there was another level I submitted that had a similar issue, but I submitted it anyway because I knew it was well liked, and I liked it myself, so I submitted it for that reason. But yeah, Scandinavia it's one of those levels where I'm really happy with the design, but I don't think it will actually get into CCLP5. I could be completely wrong, but I don't know. I just don't see it. I feel like it should have gotten in CCLP4, and yeah, this level did exist in CCLP4 voting. I don't remember its placement though. Also, the password is Indy, so hi Indy. Okay, Holiday Trail. There are many red keys around this trail, but be careful as you need at least 6 to exit. All blue walls are fake. Happy collecting. And how appropriate because Christmas is in a week. Totally did not plan this recording to be around Christmas time, I swear. So a lot of people really like this level. And I have to be honest, like I like it. It's not that I don't like it, but I feel like this level lost its chance to get into an official set. I feel like if it was going to get into one, it would have been CCLP4. And I don't remember what this got in CCLP4 voting. I know it was in there, but I don't remember its rating. But yeah, there's tons of extra red keys. You don't need to be... I mean, you have to be careful, but it's honestly pretty lenient. But yeah, I want to say this level is what started encouraging me to design more levels like this, because I really like just open-ended collection levels like this. think. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, this is genuinely a really fun level. And, well, I wasted one, but I know I'm fine. Yeah, there we go. Fun level. Okay, Compactor Reactor. This is honestly another one I'd put in my top 10 of what I submitted. Yeah, you know, looking back, so here's the funny story about this one. So back in CCLP4 voting, there was a level that was called Cold Fusion Reactor, and most of you probably know about this level. Well, that level was actually in a little bit of a contest with this one. They both rated fairly similarly in CCLP4 voting. And I was actually more in favor of Cold Fusion Reactor than this. And you're probably wondering why. And I know Jeffrey probably is as well. I think the reasoning why was because at the time with CCLP4 assembly, I already had a lot of levels chosen for the set. And I guess part of me, I didn't want to like, as weird as it sounds, as many levels as I've made and have submitted and stuff, I don't want to dominate CCLPs. Like, I knew without a doubt I was going to with CCLP4, just because I submitted 320 levels. I think over half of them were in voting. So, not to sound like a narcissist or anything, but I kind of already knew I was going to dominate CCLP4. If not me, it would have been Jeffrey. And Jeffrey came pretty close. He got, like, what, 30 levels in CCLP4? I got 37. And I already knew I was going to have a lot in CCLP4. So I guess at that point, I wanted to ask myself, what levels of mine would I be okay with excluding out of CCLP5 or CCLP4? Just to not overly dominate it. Like, I already feel like 37 out of 149 I think that's, if I remember the math correctly, I think that was almost 25% of the set. Like, a quarter of the set was mine. And it's not that I didn't like it, but I didn't want to, like, come across like I was bragging about it. Like, oh, look how many levels I have in this set, blah, 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 blah. You know, and I guess part of me was like, okay, well, between Cold Fusion Reactor and Compactor Reactor, I like Cold Fusion Reactor more because it was a lot more open-ended. Well, these are both open-ended, but that was just primarily a maze in its own way. This was more pushing blocks and getting through stuff to get chips. They were very similar cases, but I went with Cold Fusion Reactor primarily because it wasn't my level, if that makes sense. Looking back at it, I think I do kind of regret that, but I think Cold Fusion Reactor was going to get in regardless, because I know other people like that one more than this one. But this one, I would love to see this in CCLP5. Okay, Jagged Canyon. So I think this one was one I know I did submit this one. Yeah, I did submit this for CCLP5 before JB's LP. What I didn't have was this hint, which I will go ahead and show off. So this room used to not have a hint, and at the time I thought it was pretty evident what he had to do, but when JB played it, I realized it wasn't as evident. The block in this room has more than one purpose. So the ball is obviously going to be facing left or right. Well, I kind of felt like when I first made this that it was obvious it had to go left, because what would you accomplish by it going to the right? Well, the truth of the matter is it actually does face right, but what I overlooked was the player wouldn't know that unless they're looking in the editor, which I generally prefer players of my levels not do when it comes to playing them or actively playing them. Like if they're looking at the level just to look at it, that's one thing, but if they're playing it and looking at the map, that's something I want to avoid with my levels. So what I didn't make clear was that this block not only destroys this bomb, but it also blocks that ball from going into the wrong bomb. So I went ahead and added that hint to make that clarification. And I like this room. I like how this shapes out. Also, if you can hear the clicking in the background, I am using a different keyboard for my computer. Or my laptop, I guess. My laptop is in pretty rough shape. One of the hinges is actually pretty much done for on this laptop. Thankfully, the other hinge on it is... I don't think you get fire boots at this point. I want to say you just... actually, I think you want to do that, because you can open this up. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so picture a laptop, and the left hinge, like where you normally close it, or when you normally close a laptop and you open it, that left hinge is what's busted up. And I didn't do anything to it. It just happened on its own. I looked it up, and my brand of laptop is pretty notorious for faulty hinges. Okay, I'm a little lost. What did I do something wrong with this? I actually don't know if I did something wrong. I think I did. Let me start over. I think I did something wrong. But yeah, other than that, this level's fairly basic. I mean, it has some cool bits like this. I like this room right here. Like I wasn't willing to just have this ball face left. Like I did want this block to have more than one purpose. I wasn't willing to part with that. And that's an interesting thing, because as a level designer, it's like when you're making like these levels or these sections of levels, and like you're proud of how they turned out, you know, it's and stuff like that. But if you say you release that level and someone plays that section and it ends up playing out not in the way you expected it to, like it's not busted or really broken, but oh, I see what I did. Oh yes, I did cook it then. that ball on the left is supposed to go in the bottom bomb. I forgot about that. So you do that, and then you do that. And it's like some section that you design is like, it's really cool, and you're not willing to, like you're happy with it. It plays out really cool, but someone says something about it that's like, oh, it can be unfair, or this can be adjusted in such a way to not be this a certain way. And it's like, the designer, like you don't want to part with that thing because you think it's cool and interesting and actually helps better the level in some capacity. And it's like, okay, well, you know, are you the designer, or are you willing to part with that to make the level potentially better for players? And I think the obvious answer is no. Also, I don't think this matters. They're both going down, so. Yeah. Okay, that's Jagged Canyon. Fragments of a Lost Bomb. So this is just a maze. This actually uses a wall template of another level in Josh-CCLP5 called Midnight Sun Gorge, which I don't think I submitted. Off the top of my head, I don't think I did. If I did, we'll see it, but if we didn't, then it's not here. But this is just a maze with a pretty cool aesthetic. I don't think I actually submitted this initially, because it is pretty straightforward and honestly pretty simple. But I think JB liked it, and well, I like the aesthetic of it. Plus, if somehow this does get into CCLP5, I think this would be a pretty fun wall pattern for whoever makes walls of CCLP5. I would still like to make walls of CC2LP1. There's actually some different walls of sets I want to do. So I don't know if it should be directly stated. It hasn't been talked about amongst anyone other than a certain individual. But I guess I can just go ahead and say it. I don't think there's any harm in it. And if there is, I'm sorry. But just to have something to actively talk about regarding level design. So I don't know how serious it is right now. Just not like I'm serious about it, and so is this other individual. But there is potentially going to be a Walls of CC1 set that in CC1. So not like Joshua Bones set or anything like that. And it's Fragments of a Lost Bomb. A pretty simple level. I do love the fact that the ending threw JB off. That was satisfying. I'm very proud of that. Okay, Vintage Runaround. I think this is another Walls of CCLP1 level I made. And I still like this. I'm pretty happy with it. Though I think I might have screwed it. I think I did. Yeah, I did. Because you're supposed to get that. Oh, damn it, I did it again. So yeah, there's going to be a CC1 version of Walls of CC1. Potentially. And I say potentially because CC1 has quite quite a jumble of wall templates. It's actually pretty fascinating how the templates of CC1 really look. And how difficult they are. Like, I've used a couple of them for various different sets. Like that CC1 crate competition. I think the one that Condo Management ended up winning. Not only that crate competition, but also got into CCLP4. Oh, I think, yeah, you actually have to do it this way. I like that. I love block guiding puzzles like that. I feel like they're underrated. Yeah, there is technically one in development at this time. Love that you have to do that. Kill those. You gotta go around to go get the last 3. Alright, Vintage Runaround is done. That's a pretty fun little variety level. Okay, Beach Troomer Rut. So this level is interesting because this used to be called Torn Between, or Blast Through the Torns, which was a typo. It was supposed to be Blast Through the Thorns because it came after, I think it came before, or yeah, it was like in a particular lineup. It had Shrub, then that level, and then a level called My Cabbages, which I didn't submit. That's a meme level. And initially, I didn't submit this because I didn't like the way it looked. I felt like it was pretty basic. But JB actually really liked it solely for the time limit on this, which is interesting because he's been having a heyday complaining about them and trading places. That's not the point, though. It kind of surprised me that he liked this one. And so I went ahead and took it from Josh-CCLP5. I made some aesthetic adjustments. I renamed it to something I like better. And yeah, it's at least it's a much better looking level than what it was. Because there used to be toggle walls and a bunch of toggle buttons. And I don't know. It could have been designed better, which this is. And hopefully it makes for a better playable experience. Okay. So yeah, this wall's a CC1 set. It's been interesting. So far there's 5.5 levels made for it. And I'm working on my 3rd one right now. So far I've used South Pole, which I previewed in the Discord. Indy actually found out it uses the ice corners of South Pole, which were pretty... It took a while to hit an idea on, but once I got the idea, it fell into place pretty nicely. Okay, I want to say I can just keep cloning these. Okay, no, I can't. Very, very interesting. Let me do some adjustments here. Let's do this. And you do have to be careful with these blocks because you need some of them to get to the ending exit point. Okay, 1 key obtained. Okay, so what now? I want to say I can just do this now. So I use the ice corners of South Pole. Interesting design challenge, but pretty fun one. I've used Lesson 3, which was also pretty fun to use, and right now I'm working on a level that uses the walls of Cell Blocked, which I have to say, I'm really surprised no one's used them outside Joshua Bone, because wow, those are interesting walls to work with. By interesting, I mean a lot of fun. Those are genuinely really fun walls to work with. Despite being a pretty basic Metris pattern, they are pretty interesting to use. Oh, wow, this one is actually pretty difficult to get to. Wow, what did I do with this? Oh wait, I think I can just do this, right? Yeah, I can just do this. Clone 2. And now we can just do this. And what's cool about this method is that you can't actually, it would make no sense, you would gain nothing out of using the fireball cloner for this purpose. In fact, I don't even think you can. I think you have to use the blocks. And thankfully you have an extra. But yeah, I think playing that for myself, that makes me like it a lot. The time limit makes it interesting. So yeah, pretty cool level. And we're on level 69. Nice. This is block. Use this only block in the level, or this is the only block in the level. Use it to get through obstacles to collect everything, then use it to exit. And I forgot to get the red key that's down here. The only reason that red key exists still is just to enforce a little bit of exploration. Just a little bit. So yeah, this is it's a pretty cool level. I think they're not called blocks for nothing is kind of the ultimate block level, like where you actually block things off. I feel like that's the ultimate level that uses this kind of concept, but this is my own little take of it. I think it's cool. A little different in some regards. Okay. So I think what you want to do now is you want I want to say you want to put this on the fire. And thankfully that's a little nicer. I think I made the path for the ball a little longer. I initially wanted to make the ice strip a little longer, but I don't know, something about it just, it didn't work. And I don't remember what it was. Alright, that is block. Really easy level. Burial Realm. Okay, this one is going to be a little different compared to the Josh-CCLP5 version because there was a MS bust in this section right here where you can basically, this little nail thing right here was a tile, one tile up. So in MS, you could boost off this force floor to open this lock, and the bug will loop around, which was not what I wanted. It actually broke the level fairly significantly. And I want to say, yeah, you have to do this to blow that up. So this uses the walls of facades. And in terms of like,
bummer.
Uh-oh, I got the green key too early. I think in terms of actually using the walls, I mean no offense to JB by this. I think beyond the facades in his walls of CCLP1 is incredible. That's genuinely one of my favorite JB levels at this point in time. And I do want that to get into CCLP5, absolutely. But I think in terms of actually using the walls, this one does a pretty, I feel like this does a pretty nice job with it. Okay. So this is the tricky part. So you have to leave it there. You need to go around. Actually have to use that. And go back around like this. And do this. And you have to go all the way around again. And that's Burial Realm. So, yeah, I think in terms of actually using facades walls and not using the outside of it, aside from the aesthetics here, I think this level is amazing. I would really like this to get into CCLP5. I think this would be a nice early level. I mean, it's pretty difficult, but, or not, no, it's not really difficult. It's more, there's a specific way to do it, and there's a specific way to play it, and it's not like first decade, second decade worthy, but it's also not like 60s decade, 70s decade. I feel like this is like a nice, sweet, like not even 60s. I don't even think this should be in the 40s or the 50s. I feel like this would be a nice 30s decade level in CCLP5, if that. So yeah, I'm hoping that gets a good chance. All right, your coffin needs organizing. Okay, so this is exactly what you see here. Now you gotta get all the blocks out of the way. And I think what's cool about this is there is a time limit factor behind this. And all the blocks do go into specific spots. There is a little bit of openness with this right here though. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to shove them up right here. Like this. Like that. Like that. Okay, let's get this right here. Put this up here. Maybe I'll just push that down immediately. Push you right here. Yeah, like that. And what's cool about this is the socket has more than one purpose. So you actually have to open that to push these last two blocks into place. Okay. I just watched JB's latest Trading Places video tonight, and he brought this level up, but I don't remember what the purpose was. Let's see, is the hint right here? Yeah, rest in peace. I'm only going to that because JB did not, which was sad. Alright, that's a fun level. What are we doing next? Another thief level. You can't handle the ice. Yeah, I'm just gonna knock out a lot of this Josh-CCLP5 stuff in one video. So this is the walls of circles. It's no contest that JB has the better level once again with that template. Open templates like that are pretty hard to work with. You either make something maze-like or something like JB did. In this case, this is a maze. Like an open collection thing, and then it turns into a maze. And the difference with this compared to Josh-CCLP5 is there's two things. One, the time limit is 20 seconds shorter. The original time limit was 170 seconds. This is 150. So it's a little bit tighter on time, but still very, very manageable. The other change I made is the exit placement. Well, actually, the exit placement is the same, but I adjusted the aesthetic of that portion of the level. And I'll show you when I get to it. Okay, so as you can see, the wall right here was a blue wall. This used to actually be a east thin wall, and it was the only one in the entire level. And I never liked it, but I couldn't think of a way to make the aesthetic work with the rest of it. Until I realized, just make it a regular blue wall. It doesn't have to be a thin wall at all. So yeah, I made that change as well. All right, Fool's Gold. I'm just gonna keep going, honestly. I'm having a fun time. Don't be a fool by grabbing all the gold. This level used to be... actually, this level used to be was once the very first level of Josh-CCLP7. Which is interesting because at this time of my level design career, I didn't want to commit to a Josh-CCLP7, and look where that ended. But yeah, at the time I didn't want to commit to a Josh-CCLP7, so this was really the first level that got added to Josh-CCLP6 when I decided to just extend Josh-CCLP6 to 149 levels. And this level actually was a part of, I think it was a part of a mini time trial competition. I want to say the bold is 263. Okay, there we go. Yeah, this was a pretty fun... That was a pretty fun thing to design. I still like it. The asphalt line. I'm really gonna get like 15 levels done in this, aren't I? Because I know that's the end. So this level is one of the walls of CCLP2 levels I made. This uses block slide, and I gotta be honest, quite surprised this didn't get into CCLP4. I remember this level got pretty high marks in like throughout CCLP4 voting. I could be wrong. I could be misremembering, but I think it did. It got some pretty high praise. But despite that praise, it didn't get into CCLP4. I think I want to go down here to collect these. Might have been a bad idea. Actually, I'm going to wait till the end for that. I realized my commentary was kind of all over the place, so I apologize for that. Oh, this is at the start. Maybe I should have... Maybe I actually should have waited for that. Can I still solve this? Did I make it lenient enough? Oh my god, if I made this lenient enough. Oh my god, I did. Wow. Okay, that's amazing. I sincerely thought I cooked it, but wow, that's amazing. Yeah, this, I think with that being shown off, and I didn't even intend on it, I didn't know that was a thing, even though it was my own level. I think with that in mind and shown off, yeah, please consider this at least a 3 in voting. I mean, unless you absolutely don't like this level or don't like recess walls or anything like that, then I guess don't give it that, but I feel like this deserves at least a 3 from most people. Enterprise. Is this a good stopping point, actually? I went from 59 to 75. That's a lot of levels in one video, and it's not even an hour long. Well, close to an hour long. I think this is a good stopping point. This is fairly longer compared to all the other ones that I've played. So, yeah, that is going to be it today. Lots of stuff covered. This whole section. Oops. Yeah, this whole section right here. That's a lot of levels. So, I guess to conclude the video, I guess I can go ahead and mention the CC1 set. I don't have high hopes with it going very far because Chips Challenge 1's wall layouts are pretty sporadic and pretty random in a lot of levels. And some of them aren't. Some of them are pretty fun to use, like I mentioned, Cell Blocked. That's been a lot of fun to work with, or just based on the level I'm making out of it. It's been a lot of fun to work with. But there's 149 levels in that set, and a lot of them are full map levels. It's kind of like CCLP3, but this project is going to be alongside another designer. It's not Jeffrey, but it's going to be the same set instead of 2 different sets. And it's going to be interesting because this other designer and I are fairly different in a lot of ways, but we get along very well. And we'll see what happens. I mean, I wanted to succeed, but just based off the wall template we chose, we might have to reconsider, but we're going to try to make the best of it. But until then, I'm going to end it off here. This was a very, very successful video. A lot of levels covered, an entire decade, and actually a decade and a half, which is really good. And I hope you guys enjoyed all the content and the comments and stuff like that. I think I covered everything that was covered in JB's thing. I think Asphalt Line had a difference, but it wasn't worth pointing out. I think there was a spot where the block cloner used to be. I changed that to a fireball cloner. It used to be an appearing wall, but I changed it just aesthetically. But yeah, that's it for me. Thanks for watching. If I don't have a video out before Christmas, I wish everyone Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. I should be able to have something out before then, but in case something happens and I can't, I wish you all Happy Holidays in advance, and take care and stay safe in the world, and see you later.